So we have a couple updates regarding the Epstein situation. The first article we're going to cover is from the Washington Times, and that's going to be about this. This could be very interesting, extremely interesting, and I can't wait for it. Representatives Massie and Ro Khanna are planning a September press conference with Epstein victims. And then we're going to talk about how, so a couple of weeks ago, the Trump administration, or Pam Bondi to be more specific, had like requested the grand jury transcripts from the, it's either the Epstein trial or the Ghislaine Maxwell trial. Either way, it was just political theater, and they knew that there was nothing like new or anything really to see in these. We're going to talk about that. Basically, a judge blocked it or denied the request. Anyways, starting with Representatives Massie and Khanna. And I have a million problems with Thomas Massie, and I have a lot of problems with Ro Khanna too. I thought like he's always been someone who was like kind of labeled as a progressive, but like he really courts being a standard corporate dem. Like, for example, most recently when Trump and Elon had their fake falling out, he was like, Ro Khanna was like, Democrats need to try to court Elon now and get him back on their side. It's like, brother, you've lost the plot. You have lost the plot. But I will say, and Massie, like of course he was against the one big beautiful bill and he was very vocal about it, but it wasn't for good reasons. He was like, you're only cutting $1 trillion from Medicare and Medicaid. Like, why don't we just scrap the entire program? We need to cut more, bro. So it wasn't for good reasons, but regardless, this is their Khanna and Massie have been the ones leading the fight in Congress, trying to put pressure on releasing the Epstein files and keeping the spotlight on this Epstein situation. So credit to both of them for that. Anyways, Representatives Thomas Massie and Ro Khanna said Monday they will hold a press conference next month on Capitol Hill with victims of Jeffrey Epstein who have yet to publicly speak out about his abuse. Amazing. I don't see enough people talking about this, but this is an amazing play by them. The press conference is planned for September 3rd, the day after lawmakers return to Washington from their summer recess. Mr. Massie, Kentucky Republican, and Mr. Khanna, California Democrat, have teamed up on legislation to force the Justice Department to release its files from sex trafficking investigations against Epstein and his associate Ghislaine Maxwell. And Republicans killed it, and Speaker Mike Johnson was like, why don't we just start recess early? All right, let's go home. Epstein who? Yeah, you fucking pedophile defender. Jesus Christ, these people are sick. Any Republicans who are against releasing these files, like, they should be under investigation. Why are you trying to defend pedophiles? Are you a pedophile? Do you have something on your hard drive that we should be aware of? Are you on Epstein's list? Crazy. Epstein and Maxwell were both charged with sex trafficking of minors. Epstein died in jail in 2019. Okay, they didn't say suicide. Good. They should say brutally murdered, or at least murdered. Maxwell was found guilty in 2021 and is serving a 20-year prison sentence. She has appealed her conviction to the Supreme Court. Mr. Massie and Mr. Khanna said their press conference will feature survivors of Epstein and Maxwell's abuse, several of whom will be speaking out for the first time. The survivors deserve justice and the public deserves transparency, they wrote in social media posts promoting the event. The victims' attorneys, Brad Edwards and Brittany Henderson, are also scheduled to attend the press conference. Mr. Massie and Mr. Khanna will also use the event to discuss the status of their discharge petition to force a House floor vote on their bill requiring the Justice Department to release the Epstein files. The discharge petition will ripen for signatures in September. If 218 House members sign it, Mr. Massie and Mr. Khanna can force a vote on their bill against GOP leaders' wishes. However, GOP leaders can counter by trying to table the measure or refer it to committee. And if they do this, any Republican or I don't think any Democrats have voted against any of these tries, but if anyone comes out against this, anyone, I don't care who it is, if they come out against this in whatever bullshit reason they give, we need to protect the victims or Democrats just want to see CP, it's no, obviously that shit gets redacted, you fucking idiot. You're a pedophile defender, and there's a great chance that I am going to assume you are a pedophile as well. because the only people who should be defending pedophiles logically are other pedophiles. Otherwise, you should be going for their throats no matter what permission or what position they are in. I don't care who it is. I do not care who it is. I don't care. I know Bill Clinton's in there. I know he is. He should be in jail. And this, even though this is like remotely, like this would be a curveball. Well, let's say Bernard Sanders is in there. All right, done. You're out. You're out. Anyone who is in this should be ousted and just thrown away from polite society. I don't care who it is. But Republicans can't get that. They're deluding themselves. That's only Democrats. It's only Democrats. Trump, who was Epstein's best friend for 10 years. No way. Trump, who owned a spa where he admitted to hiring girls as young as 14 years old. That in of itself is like one strike, you're out. Your fucking spa having minors, one strike, you're out. One strike, you're out. And then on top of that, around the same time, he had his teen beauty pageants with contestants as low as 15. Strike 2, you're out. Both are one strike outs. Let's be clear. All 212 House Democrats and more than 6 Republicans are expected to sign this petition. That'd be 218. Other congressional efforts to force the Justice Department to release Epstein files could yield results before the discharge petition ripens. The House Oversight and Government Reform Committee has given the department until August 19th to respond to its subpoena for the Epstein files. Senate Democrats have also requested files using a little-known oversight law called the Rule of 5. They gave the Justice Department a deadline of Friday. And then we have some great comments here, some pedophile defenders. Shame on Massie. Massie is a total spaz and only wants media attention. Shut the fuck up. All right. Someone check their computers. Check their computers. Check their hard drives. I can't. I just, somehow it's become a political issue of a team issue of defending pedophiles. What is our political climate right now? From the AP, judge won't release grand jury transcripts in Jeffrey Epstein's ex-girlfriend's Ghislaine Maxwell case. Transcripts of the grand jury testimony that led to sex trafficking charges against Jeffrey Epstein's longtime confidant, Ghislaine Maxwell, shouldn't be released, a judge ruled Monday in a stinging decision suggesting the Trump administration's real motive for wanting them unsealed was to fool the public with an illusion of transparency. Pretty much exactly what I said. U.S. District Judge Paul A. Engelmeyer said in a written decision that federal law almost never allows for the release of grand jury materials and that making the documents public casually was a bad idea. The judge also belittled the Justice Department's argument that releasing grand jury materials might reveal new information about Epstein and Maxwell's crimes, calling the premise demonstrably false. The decision was a blow to President Donald Trump, who had called for the release of transcripts as he seeks to dispel rumors and quell criticism about his long ago involvement with Epstein, who killed himself. Nope. AP, what are you doing? He didn't kill himself. Come on, get with the program. At least go with the other media agencies that say, like, he died. Epstein did not kill himself. Trump campaigned on a promise to release files related to Epstein, but was met with criticism, including from many of his own supporters, when the small number of records released by the Justice Department lacked any real bombshells. Transcripts reveal next to nothing new, judge says. In his ruling, Engelmeyer wrote that after privately reviewing the grand jury transcripts, anyone familiar with the evidence from Maxwell's 2021 sex trafficking trial would learn next to nothing new and would come away feeling disappointed and misled. The materials do not identify any person other than Epstein and Maxwell as having had sexual contact with a minor. They do not discuss or identify any client of Epstein's or Maxwell's. They do not reveal any heretofore unknown means or methods of Epstein's or Maxwell's crimes. Said the materials also don't reveal new locations where crimes occurred, new sources of Maxwell and Epstein's wealth, the circumstances of Epstein's death, or the path of the government investigation. The best argument to release the transcripts might be that doing so would expose as disingenuous the government's public explanations for moving to unseal. Member of the public, appreciating that the Maxwell grand jury materials do not contribute anything to the public knowledge, might conclude that the government's motion for their unsealing was aimed not at transparency, but as diversion. I mean, that's pretty obvious. Another federal judge is weighing whether to release transcripts from the separate grand jury proceeding that led to Epstein's indictment. Florida lawyer Brad Edwards, who was represented nearly 24 Epstein accusers, said he didn't disagree with the ruling, and most wanted to protect victims. The grand jury materials contain very little in the way of evidentiary value anyway. Maxwell, Epstein's ex-girlfriend, is serving a 20-year prison sentence for helping Epstein sexually abuse several underage girls. Her lawyer, Bobby Sturham, declined to comment. The Justice Department did not respond to requests for comments. Decision comes amid a renewed fervor over Epstein case. I don't think we really need to go over this. Yeah, it pretty much just goes over what we've covered over the past few weeks, like them sending someone from the DOJ to interview Ghislaine Maxwell and then moving Ghislaine Maxwell to a different prison, and I think like Texas, like a more lower security. And everything is indicating that Maxwell is going to get a pardon in return for basically saying Trump who? Trump who? Trump never did anything. Trump never touched a kid. He never even looked at a minor the wrong way. Well, like I said, man, like, and I say this every time I talk about it. Even if Trump wasn't involved with Epstein, let's say Epstein's out of the picture here. One strike, you're out. If you are deliberately hiring 14-year-olds to staff your spa where you and your other rich, wealthy friends go to get, spa shit, like massages and just, I don't even want to picture it, man. You knowingly and admitted and about hiring minors to work in your spa. I don't care what times this took place in. One strike, you're out. And then, cherry on top, also owned a teen beauty pageant with contestants as low as 15 years old. Those two things alone, I don't care about anything else. Like that's a red flag. That's a red flag. You're a creep. You are weird. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. But now you take all of that and you connect it. It's like during this time, Trump was, you can see through pictures and from Epstein himself and comments about Trump that they were best friends for 10 years. Like, it's so obvious, man. It's so fucking obvious. Not only do we have a convicted felon serving as our president, not only do we have someone who is found liable of sexual assault serving as our president, we have a literal pedophile serving as our president, driving us straight towards complete authoritarianism. The Onion couldn't make this up. A fantasy writer couldn't make this up. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below, and I will see you in the next one. If you made it to this point in the video, I just want to give a special thank you. If you enjoyed it, please hit that like button down below, and if you really enjoyed it, maybe consider hitting that subscribe button while you're down there. I want to hear your thoughts in the comment section. I will try to reply to any and all comments that I can. Until next time, watch that video on screen.